Hundreds of hectares of developed inland valleys are not functioning at all. Canals that are completely covered by grass and bushes. This used to be a rice-growing area under full water control that now has turned into a rain-fed rice production area. Millions of francs CFA have been wasted. What a shame. This is not a unique case. You can find places such as this everywhere in the country and throughout Africa. At maximum, only 10 to 20% of developed inland valleys are operational. In the worst case, the whole inland valley is abandoned. It's always the same story. The developed inland valley is abandoned once the external funding has stopped. Such a conventional approach takes at least 2 years of studies and the farmers are not involved. The key question is, can we do things differently? Come on, I will show you how we found another way of working, another approach to better involve the farmers in the identification, design, realization, and appropriation of the developed works. Come on, let's have a look how it works. This exchange visit is being organized for the rice farmers of Ahikon from the neighboring village of Zungo to see how these farmers work. The objective is to introduce the same approach in the village of Ahikon.
Since the start of the project, the yield that we have obtained are much higher than before.
We have analyzed the data and found that the average yield amounts to 4 tons per hectare compared to only 2 tons per hectare with the traditional system. What is the reason for this yield increase? The use of smart valleys approach. Firstly, it consists in installing bunds, secondly, constructing of drainage canals that allow for water to enter and leave the plot when we want. And thirdly, the farmers use improved management practice up until harvest.
I'm a farmer from Ahikon. Today, I am in Zungo to assist with harvest. What I have seen is really impressive. I'm asking the project to come to our village, Ahikon, to assist us.
The objective of the government is to spread and multiply the smart valleys approach. If a producer can get 4 tons per hectare, this means that the income from growing rice can reach up to about 380,000 francs CFA per hectare. Although the smart valleys approach is simple, you cannot put it in place just like that without any structural arrangement. The approach starts with the identification and prospection of the site that is done by a multidisciplinary team, as each discipline brings in its own competencies.
Based on what you have seen in Zongo, you asked us to come and assist you to do the same thing here in Ahikon. The first question I would like to ask is, how important is rice growing in Ahikon?
Rice is very important in our village, Ahikon, because if we cannot sell it, we can always use it as food. And also the company Sonapra comes and buy our rice.
Is there a good relationship between the farmers and the landowners?
There is no problem concerning land ownership, because most of the farmers are also landowners.
What is happening over there? They just come like that, empty-handed, and they are sitting there just listening to them. They do not know the problems we have in this village.
What role do women play in rice production?
They not only prepare the food for their husband when he is working in the field, but they also transplant rice and assist their husband during harvesting. You tell us that the inland valley will be completely developed, but where will we go then to grow vegetable and herd the cattle?
They didn't start yet and there are already problems. Where will the cattle find place to graze? Where will the youngsters go who are used to growing vegetable in the inland valley?
I don't think there will be a problem. As you know, you grow rice only during one time of the year. So after the harvest, the inland valley will be free again for grazing and vegetable growing. Here we are in the inland valley. This is to check whether the information given by the farmers is correct. Information concerning accessibility, the area, the shape of the valley and the reliability of the water. And to check the types of soil.
There is a lot of water in our inland valley of Ahikon. The water passes under the small bridge with two openings to allow entry into the inland valley. With this quantity of water, we can easily produce rice.
You said that the area was about 35 hectares. Let's go a bit further, so we can check if it is really 35 hectares. The structure of the soil contains sand, silt and clay. It is a rich soil.
They are back to work with us, but they only brought some paper. What are they going to write anyway?
So the valley is easily accessible. They say it is about 35 hectares. There is no land ownership problem, as most of the farmers are also landowners. And the farmers show a keen interest and determination to work. Regarding the type of soil, it contains sand, silt and clay, and its color is black. The shape of the valley is a U, because the slopes are not steep. On the basis of this prospection, we will make a dossier that we will submit to Mr. Wuru.
Bonjour.
Good morning, sir. How are you? I came to submit the dossier to you.
Did you take into account each criteria that are listed in the selection form? Accessibility, land ownership, importance of rice, area.
Ok. J'aurai le temps de voir tout ça.
Okay. I will study this dossier and in 2 days I will call you to give you my permission on whether and how to follow up the work you started. The Ahikon site seems quite attractive, but there is a need to go to the field and check if the information is correct. You never know, the technician might have had a special reason to promote this dossier. Maybe he has a girlfriend there, influenced by local authorities, or guided by the mayor. Verifying the information allows us to make a final decision of the site selection.
I have some good news for all of you. Ahikon has been accepted into the program.
Oh, yes, I agree. Oh, we are so happy.
But now we really have to start. Developing lowlands is not easy. I would like to know if you really want to work hard and work together. You know we cannot work with you if you are not organized. You should establish a solid farmer group and an executive committee. This will allow us to work properly.
They are there again, talking about getting organized to work together. But they do not know this village. Working together is always causing problems. What will they do to make them get organized and work together?
It is good that you have chosen your leaders. But later on, the representatives of the Extension Service will pass by to help you to elect your leaders.
This is a complete nonsense. This is really unbelievable. This will only delay the work and there will be problems every day. The development of an inland valley aims at ensuring rice production, and as such, you have to manage the water, because an inland valley is in fact a water-flooded area. One of the objectives of the approach is to keep the water in the valley and fields as long as needed and also be able to drain when there is too much water. The other objective is to increase the potential benefits of applying the fertilizer. If you can't control the water and you apply fertilizer, this fertilizer will likely disappear through water runoff.
This type of development is quite simple, because it allows the farmers to participate from the beginning to the end in all the activities happening at the site. There is no need to do any topographic or hydrological studies. The plan is made on the basis of the information provided by the farmers. For instance, on the water inlets and outlets.
The water goes around the termite mounds and flows further. Is that correct? Okay, let's go further down the valley. I thought they would come with solutions to obtain higher yield, but they only ask questions. Is it that what is meant by improving rice production?
The lateral drainage canal also brings water into the inland valley. Okay, let's go. Apart from the central drainage canal, there is another lateral canal starting from the village and joining the drainage canal in the center of the inland valley.
If you have this kind of slope, the water stagnates. The water first flows here as it runs off from that opposite palm grove into the field. Here it is lower, so the water runs off up to here and a new water course starts. Here, as it is flat, the water drains up to here. So you have to take this into account when you draw your development plan.
Okay, let's discuss this with the farmers now.
As of today, I see that you are already committed. You showed us how the water is flowing, the intakes and the outlets. You have also cleaned the land, but I must inform you that the work is only just beginning. Based on all the information we obtained from the farmers, we try to make a development plan together with the farmers in a participatory and consensual way. This step is very important because if you make mistakes, or if the farmers fail to provide the required information, you run the risk of making a completely inaccurate plan.
water takes its origin here. This whole part is water. It continues like that. But here, where it is flat, we will subdivide into two plots, separated by a drainage canal, here and here. Thus we can drain the plot here and here. Look what we finally obtained. I think it is a good plan. Do you all agree? Do you think we can present this to Dr. Wool?
It is good. Yes, we can.
The information we got from the farmers forms the basis of this plan. But of course, we all can make some mistakes. Therefore, it has to be checked and validated by Mr. Wuru. But not only by Mr. Wuru, the producers also need to be present and will have their say, as they know the inland valley much better than anybody else. Last time we have investigated together the inland valley, and based on that we have made a development plan that we present here. But we have to review it, as we need your comments and your approval. The water here does not enter directly into the valley. It flows around the termite mound before continuing and entering the lowland. Do you agree with the plan that we made?
I agree, but you should place the drainage canal from the village to the site. I mean, more to this side here of the valley.
As you have seen, the farmers have actually been participating in the development of the plan. They have proposed some modifications to improve the plan. Their contributions are really important.
Based on the plan we made together, we will now implement the different layouts using stakes painted in different colors. The stakes used for contours are painted in red to indicate that a major bund will be constructed there. The blue color indicates that water will pass there. The stakes with blue and red indicate that there will be a major bund and that water will pass. When you see a stake painted in green only, it means that a secondary bund will come there, separating two plots. Stakes with blue and green indicate that there will be a water passage and that two secondary bunds will border that water passage. Stakes with three colors, red, blue and black, indicate that with the red a major bund will be built, with the blue water will pass, and with black it indicates that the entrance of the canal some structure is to be installed to control the speed of the water before it enters the inland valley. Yellow color indicates that the area is to be treated differently than the rest, like a termite mound or a useful tree that one should not cut.
I can't believe it. I really can't. Incredible. They put stakes everywhere. They call this growing rice? It is not possible, and even with colors. Now you have to be a painter to produce rice? It is really nonsense. Unbelievable.
The first operation is to materialize the plan using colored stakes. All around you will see there is only red. This is to indicate that it is the contour of the valley. We have foreseen drainage canal all around the valley because we realized that there is a slope coming down like this. And to irrigate the plots at this side, a drainage canal is needed. The stakes we used here are painted in red because major bunds will be needed to avoid water coming into the inland valley. Here we are staking out the contours. The stakes have to be aligned and the distance between the stakes is the same. In order to align the stakes perfectly, one needs a sharp eye. The second operation consists of plotting the central canal, meaning the real section where the water enters naturally into the valley. As you can see here, we have the central drainage canal passing this way. The stakes we use here are painted not only in red, but also in blue. The red to indicate that a major bund will come here, and the blue to indicate that natural water will pass there.
It's unbelievable. They're back to keep us busy with their sticks. We don't want that. We want seed and fertilizer to obtain good yields. It's unbelievable. This is fake. I'm sure it is fake.
En plus de l'as de drainage.
In addition to the central drainage canal, there are other passages of water at the level of the transversal slope that brings the water into the central canal. The stakes we use are placed in parallel, meaning that they face each other, and they are painted in red, blue and black. Black means that you have to install reinforcements to avoid erosion at the level of this passage. When there is a useful tree on the site, we put stakes all around it, and the stakes used are painted in yellow. When there is a termite mound, we do the same, to show that you should not transplant rice here. Now we have to mark out the secondary bunds that separate two plots like this. Here we are demarcating this plot. We will do the same at the end over there. We have to measure to be sure the plots have the same dimension. Here we have the line representing the secondary bunds. The stakes will be painted in green only. That stake is already painted in red, thus a major bund will be there. If we add the green color, we know that the secondary bund will be there. This bund will be perpendicular to the major bund that passes here and goes in that direction. So we have to add the green color here. After this, we have to demarcate the secondary drainage canals, because we need to be able to evacuate the water when there is too much, or to irrigate when we need more water. Here, this line, I mean the second line here, represents the secondary drainage canal and the secondary bund. That is why the stake is painted in blue and green. At this point, we are here, close to this plot. You see that we have already put the contour stakes painted in red. Just beyond this plot, we will have the secondary drainage canal. It will pass here. Now we have to put this stake painted in blue and green, because it indicates that there will be a passage of major bund and of a secondary canal and the canal between the two plots. And now the real work starts. The first activity consists of constructing the contour bunds. We will follow the line with the red painted stakes. Now we will start to construct the bunds that border the central drainage canal. Before starting, I will take the hoe to show you how it should be done. Here we are at the inlet of a lateral drainage canal that converges its water into the same central drainage canal. We realized that the speed of the water coming into the inland valley is high. And to avoid erosion created by the water, we placed stones at the inlet of this canal to reduce the speed of the water. We will now construct the secondary drainage canals, converging their water into the principal drainage canal.
These technicians, they are just distraction. And do they themselves believe what they say? Making bounds. What is the use of that?
The green color on this stake indicates that the secondary bund passes here. And this bund allows separation of two plots. You have seen that the plots are rather small. This is to make leveling easier. If the plots are too big, we can't easily control the water. When the plots have plenty of water, we might need to empty them. And therefore we need a secondary drainage canal, like this one here that is surrounded by two secondary bunds. This allows us to evacuate the surplus of water of the plots, from here to here, and from here to here, up to there. In short, the advantage of this approach is the quick understanding by the farmers of the development process, even without the presence of the technicians. Mainly because the farmers designed the plan themselves and they understood the usefulness of colored stakes.
What we learn is the way of using the stakes. When we put red, it means bonds, blue means water.
You see, the farmers understood, and without me being present, they are putting in place all the different types of all layouts as indicated on the development plan.
With this approach, we can now subdivide the plot ourselves and foresee where we need bonds and canals to drain the excess water. As we work in a group, the work progresses better. Before we work alone, and each one of us did what he could, but now the work goes much faster.
At the end of the collective work, such as the construction of the contours of the inland valley and the central and secondary drainage canal, the subdivisions of the plots, each farmer tries to level his own plot. Leveling is very important, as it allows the water to stay as long as possible in the plot, and if fertilizer is used, it will be much more effective. Normally, leveling is done individually, but now that the farmers learn to work together, they help each other. Some farmers leave their plots and help level other plots. Then they go back to their own plot, where other farmers help them on turns.
Before, we used to work individually, but now, with this approach, we realize that when we work together, we can work more efficiently. Even those who do not understand at first can ask for advice from their fellow farmers, and as such, can also benefit.
Now and then, you have to monitor to make sure that the approach is properly implemented and to accompany the technician in the field if he would have a lapse or if any problem would arise. In fact, the technician learns most from the field application. Training is not only what was learned in the classroom. That is the reason why a regular follow-up is very important. If you have finished leveling your plot, and if you think there is a small slope somewhere, that is not a problem. You have to subdivide the plot into two so that the water does not accumulate at the lower part. We cannot take this into account when making the development plan. Now that the technicians are gone, let me go a little bit closer to see what happens over there. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Wouldn't it be better to stop all this? You will destroy the soil. You are removing all the biomass. Where will our cattle go to graze? Stop messing around. I do not agree. I do not agree. I really do not agree with you.
This year, we had a severe drought, but we need water in our inland valley. What shall we do? We're desperate. We need to transplant our rice. We really need a solution to this. I am thinking about what we can do without water, but I don't know.
What are you talking about? The water over there is flowing 24 hours a day, and you don't even use it. You sitting here complaining about the water. Yes, keep on sitting, and only complaining. Keep on complaining.
But he's right. Let's go together to the artesian well, the source of the water, to see if there is any possibility to feed the inland valley with that water.
3 days later they installed an intake on the village artesian well, so they can easily drain the water into the valley and irrigate their plots.
They follow my advice. They were moaning that there was no water. Look here. So they follow my advice. The water is flowing here. Very well. They listen to me.
We use a rope for transplanting. We have put small tags at equal distances on this rope. These tags indicate where you have to put the rice plants. We also use a small stick to move the rope each time 20 centimeters.
Before, when the water arrived into the valley, it simply flew through. But this year, with the construction of the canals and bounds, we can keep the water in the plots. There was not much rain this year, but look, you see how well the rice is doing.
I went around in the valley side, and in general it is okay. You took some good initiatives. You brought water to your valley. Very good. It is very good. But there are still some problems that will need your attention for next season. There are some drainage canals that are too deep and too narrow. For next year, you will need to widen these canals and make them less deep. It is not bad at all. There is water in the plot and the panicle start to be filled. That seems good. But it does not mean they will have more rice, I'm sure. Wow, you are harvesting a lot. I am really impressed. This is a lot of rice. Really. I must admit, I think I have made a mistake. I really made a mistake.
Yes, of course. We were right. We have put a lot of effort in designing the layout of the fields. But finally, the results are here.
But I sincerely hope that you are not going to leave me alone for next season. I hope you will agree to help me with the layout of my field so that I too can have good harvest as you have.
Yes, of course. There is no problem. Next season, we'll help to lay out your field. Don't worry. Oh, don't worry.
Things are going so fast in the field with the producers that we cannot do everything ourselves. So we really have to train more technicians. You have been identified to participate in this training. The training will take place partly in the classroom and partly in the field. This will help you to assimilate all the themes developed in this training and enable you to implement them in the field. The first part is the site selection.
valleys is a low-cost, participatory and sustainable approach to develop inland valleys for rice-based systems in sub-Saharan Africa. The Smart Valleys approach has been developed by Africa Rice and its national research and development partners in Benin and Togo. The approach allows rice yields to double through improved water control with only limited additional cost for the producers.
Le rendement moyen à l'hectare est de 4 tonnes, contre un rendement moyen de 2 tonnes dans le système traditionnel.
Compared to traditional approaches, which involve expensive topographic studies and high investment costs to construct elaborate water control infrastructure, smart valleys are low cost and more sustainable because they are developed and constructed by the farmers themselves. The Smart Valleys approach follows a stepwise procedure focusing on design, layout and construction of low-cost water control infrastructure after a careful selection procedure paying attention to both socioeconomic and biophysical factors and making extensive use of farmer knowledge. The Smart Valleys approach starts with the identification of inland valley sites with potential use for rice cultivation. This is done by a technical team working with farmers and village chiefs in the field. The team should be composed of members that are trained in the Smart Valleys approach, able to comprehend the social and hydrological setting of the valleys with potential for rice cultivation. Discussions focus on the relative importance of rice compared to other crops, the potential to grow and market more rice, the suitability of the valley lowland soils for rice cropping, and water flow and availability year-round.
Par rapport à la structure du sol, il y a un peu de l'argile, un peu du sable et de l'humus.
Tu vois, donc c'est riche quand même.
Special focus is paid to land tenure issues. Who owns or has a say over the land? Who will benefit or risks losing out from development? What are the perspectives of women in using the valley lowlands after development? This information allows the technical team to construct a dossier that can be discussed by the communities that exploit the valley lowlands and those more downstream the valley that might be affected by the development effort.
Le dossier il sort du lot, mais c'est indispensable de retourner vérifier l'information parce que
if the site is considered suitable, follow-up meetings are held to get the community's full engagement and getting farmers organized to embark on collective development of the valley lowlands. Once the go signal has been given, land is cleared. Although some valuable trees may be retained. Thereafter, farmers and technicians embark on an extensive exploration of the valley to capture farmers' knowledge and experience in terms of water flow and retention on the soil surface.
L'eau qui arrive là s'étale sur tous les champs. Donc il faut prendre ça en compte dans l'élaboration du schéma.
With these insights, a plan to develop the valley lowlands is drawn and subsequently reviewed and amended by the farmers. Such a design outlines the water intakes, canals and bunds to enable greatly improved water retention in the valley lowlands and drainage of excess water from the valley. Actual development of the land starts by materializing the key features of the plan, using stakes painted in different colors. Red for bunds contouring the management site, and blue for major canals. Green is used for secondary bunds, combined with blue for secondary canals that will allow for more precise water management. Farmers learn the techniques of decoding the plan and transposing it into a stake-studded valley. Thereafter, the real work starts, digging canals and moving soil to construct bunds. With the colored stakes as a guide, farmers construct the different types of canals, the bunds that contour the fields, and special features to protect the valley from erosion.
Donc les paysans, ils ont compris et eux-mêmes, vous voyez, sans ma présence, ils sont en train de reproduire ça là-bas.
Improvements may also include simple structures to divert water from the natural source and provide irrigation to thirsty rice fields when needed. Finally, fields are leveled, and where slopes are too critical, plots are further subdivided in smaller plots with different soil heights to allow for more precise water management.
Si vous estimez qu'il y a une petite pente quelque part, vous coupez en deux pour que l'eau ne vienne pas s'accumuler du haut vers le bas.
Experience with the Smart Valleys approach has shown that adequate water control is the essential precondition for farmers to invest in improved rice management practices, such as timely weeding and use of mineral fertilizer.
Le système même consiste d'abord à installer des diguettes. Deuxièmement, il y a les axes de drainage qui permettent de faire entrer l'eau et de faire sortir de l'eau quand nous voulons. Troisièmement, les itinéraires techniques sont suivis jusqu'à la récolte.
Even in times of low rainfall, smart valleys produce a good rice crop as long as canals are well maintained.
Dide kabla aménagement ne mi bon et de alifier sinagole yo. E we so sino makwe bo mo le ko me. Mi ko ko lo me jo tija, mi ka ko le mo le ko diga so gwe. Mu da gwe wen lo ne yo. O gwe de vonu o. Ni site e lo no te o gwe do mi yo. Ni je fi de vonu e o de mi na no sa.
But nothing is perfect, and there is always room for improvement.
Il y a quand même quelques problèmes que j'ai pu constater sur le terrain qu'il faut améliorer pour la campagne à venir. Il y a certains axes de drainage qui sont trop profonds et peu étroits.
With the success of the approach now shown, it is time to develop more smart valleys. This will need hands-on training of trainers, able to analyze the socio-economic and biophysical settings of the inland valleys and judge their potential for development using the Smart Valleys approach. Such technical teams need to be coached in the field and learn by doing through working with farmers. Only that way will they be able to capture farmers' knowledge and adapt the Smart Valleys approach to any site-specific conditions.